Do you really know how many animals are endangered? Do you know why they are? Do you know what can happen if certain ones go extinct? Well, after I present to you this informative speech, you will all know the basics of endangered species. Many of you don't realize how many species are endangered, and it's time to learn some of them. Why they are, how many are there, and what can happen if they all do go extinct. Let's start off with the basics. An endangered species is a type of organism that is threatened by extinction. And endangered species are a very real problem today, and I'm here to inform you about almost everything that comes with it. According to the Animal Planet website, these are just a few species that are endangered. Asian elephants, Bengal tigers, Amur leopards, black rhinos, blue whales, chimpanzees, giant pandas, green turtles, snow leopards, sea lions, Sumatran orangutans, and that's only to name a few. It's crazy to think that these animals that we know and have grown to love are now coming to be threatened to extinction. We are actually able to see real life pictures and not just drawings of these animals, and it's hard to accept the fact that they might be going extinct. According to Endangered Earth, there are now over 41,000 species on the IUCN Red List, and over 16,000 of them are endangered species threatened with extinction. This is up from over 16,000 last year. This includes both endangered animals and endangered plants, but I'm only focusing mainly on the endangered animals. The Red List defines the severity and specific causes of a species threat of extinction. They have 7 levels of conservation. It goes from least concern, near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, extinct in the wild, and extinct. Each category represents a different threat level. Species may become extinct because of changes in the climate, competition with other species, a reduced food supply, or combinations of all of these. Most natural extinctions are isolated events that happen over a fairly long period of time. According to the National Geographic website, species become endangered for 2 main reasons: loss of habitat and loss of genetic variation. These both can happen either naturally or because of human activity. A loss of habitat can happen naturally, obviously, which I just said. Dinosaurs, for instance, lost their habitat about 65 million years ago, and they lived in a hot, dry climate, and after the asteroid struck Earth, the Earth began to be cold and dark, and they couldn't adapt to that atmosphere, and so then they became endangered, and then they went extinct. Human activity can also contribute to a loss of habitat. Development for housing, industry, and agriculture reduces the habitat of native organisms. And then the other main reason, which is genetic variation, it's diversity found within a species, and it's why humans have black, blonde, brown hair. And so genetic variation allows species to adapt to changes in their environment. An example is cheetahs are a near threatened species native to Africa and Asia, and they have very little genetic variation due to the fact that during the last ice age, cheetahs went through a long period of inbreeding. So as a result, there are very few genetic differences between cheetahs. So they can't adapt to changes in the environment as quickly as other animals, and fewer cheetahs survive to maturity. Human activity can also lead to a loss of genetic variation. Overhunting, overfishing have reduced the production of animals, and it also has created a reduced population, meaning that there are fewer breeding pairs. A breeding pair is made up of 2 mature members of the species that are closely related and can produce healthy offspring. With fewer breeding pairs, generation variation streaks, which causes the animal species to be endangered. Now, what will happen if we lose these certain species? According to a ThoughtCo.com article, Why It Matters When Species Go Extinct, it says, losing even a small strand in the web of life contributes to the unraveling of our planet's sustainability, the fine balance of a biodiversity that affects each and every one of us. And biodiversity is the variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem, and it just creates the world. Every little animal, no matter how small, has a place in the world and what they're doing to contribute to it. Many of you don't realize how many species are endangered, and hopefully you did learn some of them. and you did learn how many are there, why they are there, and what could happen if they all go extinct. Endangered species are a very real problem in today's society, and it's finally time to people learn and understand just how severe it is. The next time you think of endangered species, I hope you don't instantly go to dinosaurs, but instead polar bears, cheetahs, or elephants. Can you really imagine a time without elephants or tigers? Because I can't.
You needed like a few more seconds.